Why does the PulseChain chart looks awful in price performance, given that this is a deflationary token that burns more than it means? Well, I'm going to explain the math behind it. So as you guys know, this is the PulseChain chart on the weekly bar, and we clearly have the downtrend here. The line here in the middle is just a regression trend. It's a very simple data that you can see. So it's just a regression line, right? To tell you where the trend is going. And it's going down. And the reason why is because we have validators on chain that are getting their tokens as rewards and they are instantly dumping it for whatever they want to do with the tokens. Right? And the way I can prove it to you is by math. So there is a website named OwlNode. OwlNodes currently hosts tons of services here if you want to become a validator. And one of them is being a validator in PulseChain. They offer you the infrastructure to become a node, right? With some cost. And the cost to become a node is equals to $5 a month and requires 32 million pulse per node, which is the maximum you can have per node, right? This is about $1,000. And the APR of doing this validator work is currently 8.8%, which comes from the inflation, plus 1.16%, which comes from math bots. So these math bots, which are just provided from our nodes itself, which are making some profits on the chain, they are increasing 1.16% of the yield here. This equals to $7.79 per month per node. So each node is going to cost $5. And if you are a validator and you have to pay this, you are going to dump $5, right? To pay your bills. That's normal. And on top of it, you have a profit of 2.80%. Oh, sorry, $2.80 per node. Now, stick with me on this calculation, right? What we have here is approximately, we have 53,000 validators, which are paying per month as infrastructure the equivalent of $265,000 a month. We have 53,000 validators using our node service, and they are dumping every single month the equivalent of $275,000. But there's a nuance here. This is their cost. So their cost, they have a little margin of $2. So we're going to calculate the margin of these validators at the moment, which is $148,000 here. Now look at this. If you just sum both values, right, you can calculate the revenue that these miners have. And they currently have a revenue of $400,000. What we should suppose is that given that these validators, they have exposure to PulseChain itself already because they're providing the service, every single post they receive, they are going to swap for anything, right? They're going to swap for dollars. They're going to swap for dollars to pay their bills. They're going to swap for maybe PulseX or Hex or Ethereum or Bitcoin, so they can diversify their exposure. So all of these 53,000 validators, they are dumping approximately every single month $400,000. This is the reason why PulseChain price is dying against other things. And this is the reason why I tell you that PulseX is one of the best coins that Richard Hart ever created, because you don't have any cost to handle. You cannot mint this. You cannot create PulseX from thin air, right? You can just buy this thing and maybe trade it. That's the difference. If you look at Hex price, it's the same behavior as PulseChain in some sense, but there's just a little nuance because Richard Hart can basically influence, or the DOA can influence the inflation of the token. So if you look here in this chart of PulseX, of Hex, and you bring here a quick analysis of the regression, you'll see that it's going slightly down, but it's still going down because it has inflation. It's simple as that. Both PulseChain and Hex have inflation, but that's not the problem. If the amount of users were going up and people were buying this thing, that's fine. No problem with inflation at all. But if you check the active users over time, the active users barely change it at all. you have like the peak we have of active users were 50K, and then we have another peak of 45K. But since then, like in the last 2 years, we are around 10K to 20K maximum daily users, active users, right? So it's not growing. And another data that I have to sustain it, to explain the reason why PulseChain is going down, Hex is going down, but PulseX is kind of stagnated in the same range, is that the amount of coins, the amount of stable coins bridged to PulseChain, right? The net flow is just going down across time. So in the beginning, we had around, let's put it this way, $100 million of stable coins, and then it dropped to 42. And here, in 2024, this movement here, I think it was Richard Hart, because it was a very aggressive bridge in at the time. I remember it, right? And it peaked at $100 million of stable coins. But it didn't change anything at all, because this is a downtrend. This is a bleeding stable coin net flow. So across time, we had a little pump there, but it's going down. The trend is going down. If you put a regression line here, ignoring the first pump of the beginning of the chain, this is a downtrend, clearly. It's a downtrend in stable coins, and it's a downtrend, and it's a stagnant daily active users, which results in a downtrend in coins that have inflation, like Hex, in a downtrend in coins that have inflation like PulseChain, which I just shared here. And this is the reason why these things are happening. So I hope I could clarify a little bit the reason why stuff's happen and why I do defend so much PulseChain as the core crypto here from Richard Hart, right? Don't get fooled by people, because when Richard Hart started to move his sacrifice wallet, people were saying like, oh, he's going to bridge in and buy the market. He's not going to do that, man. He's not dumb. The guy is smart. This is not sustainable to just buy at the market, right? What you have to keep an eye on is the bridge, the net flow of the bridge. If this thing starts to pump, then maybe you can say something. Else you cannot. So be smart and listen to what I say. I didn't miss calls, good calls, since the beginning of this chain.